I think it's his character. I think it's his determination. They're the things that Arsenal are crying out for.
Hello and welcome back on Debatable on 11 Football with me, Fabrizio Romano, ready to discuss together about football, of course, transfers. We are in transfer window, and I wanted to start with Arsenal because Arsenal are pushing to sign Artur Melo on loan from Juventus. He's one of the main names in the list, and the player is open to the move. So let's see what happens between Juventus and Arsenal in negotiation, because Juventus will need a replacement in case they will allow Artur Melo to leave in January. Wanted to ask Paul to start your opinion on Arsenal in this moment on the transfer market, their ideas, their strategy. They already decided to let Milan to leave and join Roma. So your idea on Arsenal project at this point?
Yeah, it feels like Arsenal are getting back on track. You know, I think there's been a number of years in the wilderness. We talked a couple of years ago. Quite clearly, the strategy was, with Wenger leaving, was to double down on star names. And I think that's left. Well, you can see the stuff with Aubameyang still lingers on. Obviously, that was what would it have been? It was Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang and Tyron Erzl down at the time. And Arsenal are still sort of reeling from the post-Wenger fallout. So it does feel like Arteta's very much turned the corner. It feels like he's got a style that he wants to impose, as a type of player that he wants. And it actually looks like he's being supported to get it as well.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with midfielder, because they need a midfielder, but also what happens with striker. And we're going to discuss about Dusan Vlahovic future together, one of our topics, one of the most discussed players in the world in this moment. But let's move to another tweet about Manchester United at this point and about Eric Bailly, because his future will be decided soon. And AC Milan are interested in Bailly as potential new centre-back on loan deal. Talks have been opened with the player with Man United. Nothing has been agreed yet. So in the coming few days, AC Milan will decide if they want to go for Bailly as first choice, and if Man United will accept a loan deal for him. Paul, your idea on that one. So you think to let Bailly leave on loan is a good idea for Man United? How do you see this player and his potential move to AC Milan?
There was a point not too many years ago where I genuinely thought he was Manchester United's best centre-half. And I'm not quite sure what's happened. I know he's had some injury issues and what have you, but it feels to me like there's a very well-trodden path in the last couple of years where guys who haven't made it at Manchester United go to Serie A and are really, really good. Perhaps saying probably more about Manchester United and the issues that they've got rather than the quality of the player, I guess.
Yes, and also wanted to ask you your opinion on AC Milan moment in general, because Liverpool were amazing with AC Milan in Champions League group this year. And so the feeling you had about AC Milan, because they're trying to rebuild, of course, they still have Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's 40, but he's still the leader of the team. They need something fresh in attacking positions, but they also have some interesting players like Sandro Tonali, like Fikayo Tomori, who is doing great here in Serie A. So your opinion in general about AC Milan?
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to sort of sit here and wax lyrical about how good AC Milan are, because Liverpool kind of made short work of them, really, particularly San Siro. Liverpool were able to dispatch them with a B team effectively. But I mean, look, AC Milan are one of the superpowers. Personally for me, they're right up there. Obviously, Liverpool have got a great history with them, of course, going back to 2 Champions League finals in the mid-noughties. And I would like to see them get back on top, but I think they do need more quality. And look, Zlatan, it's all well and good. I mean, he's almost eternal. And we know the Serie A is very much the league to go to if you want to play heading towards your 40s. But if they want to compete, at the top, look at what Inter Milan capturing the Scudetto. They've got Lukaku up front. Look at what Juventus has done for years and years. You need firepower, and you need fresh legs, and you need someone you can play week in, week out, to be honest, as well. So I've been impressed by how they've managed to get themselves back into the Champions League conversation. But if they want to go to that next level, then they're going to have to invest.
Let's move to our next topic, Paul, and it's about another fantastic player, in this case a talent, because we're talking about Dusan Vlahovic, Fiorentina striker, as Mo Salah was a few years ago. And the statement is, Vlahovic will be the next big thing of European football after Mbappe and Haaland, of course. They are the 2 big stars, but this boy, Dusan Vlahovic, seems to be really special. And I also want your opinion, Paul. Maybe if Liverpool could be in the race in the summer, because many clubs are working to sign this boy. He's not kind of Liverpool deal, because you need to pay a lot of money to people close to the player. So it's not an easy negotiation. It's not an easy race. But this striker is fantastic. He reminds me of Prime Ibrahimovic. He's scoring goals. He's a leader. His mentality is incredible. And he's playing for Fiorentina, not for a winning club in Italy, with all respect with Fiorentina. But of course, it's not Inter, Juventus, Milan, or this kind of clubs. So what he's doing is incredible. I wanted your feeling, your opinion on Dusan Vlahovic.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think he was linked last summer with Liverpool, so we did a little bit of digging into him. And I'll be honest, my fear with him, and I have this whenever you see big centre forwards, Liverpool have a pretty bad track record of buying big guys to play up front, and there's been mixed results certainly. I mean, I'm sure he's probably going to go on to have a bigger, maybe higher end career than the likes of Peter Crouch, for example, or Andy Carroll. But Liverpool had Morientes in the 2000s as well, Christian Benteke. So I was initially quite, kind of like, well, I'm not sure, but when you see what he can do, I mean, and I also think Liverpool stylistically have changed this season as well, which is why, I think Diogo Jota's goal return has been excellent centre forward. I think when he's been fit and playing, Origi's been scoring more goals for Liverpool, because I think the system is being altered to better suit a number 9, which it wasn't previously. The system was built very much around Roberto Firmino. Someone like him, and look, I have a soft spot as a lefty myself. I've got a soft spot for a left footer, of course. But he looks like the total package. Whether he can do that outside of Serie A is another. That's an interesting question, because I don't like this Mbappe, Haaland, and then there's another guy, because that other guy, if you think about like Messi, Ronaldo, there's been a third best.
Yes. And how many they destroyed?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. But look at his age, look at his goal return already, which is getting better season on season. I would be concerned if Arsenal were to manage to get that deal over the line in January, because I think that would make them, maybe not, they're not going to challenge for the top 3, but that might make them far healthier candidates for the top 4. And then what do they do next season?
Yes, would be something big for Arsenal. And let's say the latest about Arsenal for Dusan Vlahovic, from what I'm told, is still really complicated to change his mind for January, just because what happened? The player had a big fight with the city of Florence, with Fiorentina fans in September, because they wanted him to sign a new deal. Fiorentina offered him the biggest contract in Fiorentina history, more than Batistuta or any other player in their history. But he said no. He turned down the proposal in September. So it was a big fight with Fiorentina fans. He's out of contract in 2023. But then immediately after the fight in public, he decided to focus on football. His mentality was helping him to score goals. And now the feeling is good again between Dusan Vlahovic and Fiorentina fans. But he wants to bring Fiorentina back to European football and then leave in the summer. It's maybe the best way to leave Fiorentina at the end of the season. And this is why it's not easy to change his mind. In January, Arsenal are trying. Arsenal have a special relationship with Fiorentina, very good one, also because of Torreira deal in the summer. But from what I'm told, on Vlahovic's side, the player, it's not that he's disrespecting Arsenal, but at the moment he doesn't want to move. And he knows that in the summer he will have many and many chances, many and many clubs ready to pay for him. So this is why waiting is maybe the best strategy for Vlahovic. Let's see if Arsenal will be able to change his mind with an incredible proposal. At the moment, still seems complicated, but let's see what happens. And you will see him very well immediately for Arsenal, because signing this kind of player, as you said, from Italy, arriving in Premier League in January is not so easy, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It does take, and look, getting up to the speed of the league and all those kind of things. And there are, again, there's plenty of exceptions to this, and maybe this is more around older players, because there was that trend for a number of years of guys toward the tail end of their careers coming over to the Premier League from Italy and really not being able to get up to the speed. But you can see this guy, it's just what it's for me. I think it's his character. I think it's his determination. They're the things that Arsenal are crying out for. And also, just from a Liverpool perspective, why I actually think he'd be a wonderful fit for Liverpool, just in terms of his approach and his attitude. You read things from coaches going back to Partizan and beyond, and they talk about that. They speak about there's a guy who's just got this incredible inbuilt determination to succeed. That would carry him through. But yeah, whether you could, I don't think he's going to step into the Premier League mid-season and bag 15 goals between now and the end, but he's definitely got a huge future.
Yes. Let's see what happens with Dusan Vlahović. Will be an interesting topic in the coming days or in the coming months if he's going to stay at Fiorentina. Thanks, guys, to our listeners and followers. As always, you have been listening and watching, as always, Debatable here on 11 Football. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So leave a comment on YouTube or wherever you're following us. And a big thank to Paul for being part of the show. It was amazing. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, mate.
It was a super pleasure. So see you soon on Debatable.